Tonight, two parents, both military veterans, are pleading for the public's help in finding their daughter. Virginia Beach police say 19-year-old Ashanti Billie was last seen yesterday morning.
Right now, her parents are in the area from Maryland working with detectives, hopefully to bring her home. They spoke only to Archie Knew Her tonight.
Well, that's right, guys. They got into town this morning, and like you said, they're working with Virginia Beach police to hopefully get her back home safe tonight. Ashanti is in the area for college and has been here only since August. Tonight, her parents are pleading for anyone with information to help. Driving by, town center is unfamiliar to Meltoni and Brandy Billie. Their daughter Ashanti.
Our daughter's here for college.
They speak to her regularly from Maryland.
Sunday evening, and she was going grocery shopping.
Sunday was the last time they spoke to Ashanti before she disappeared.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I would never wish this on no one.
Virginia Beach police say Ashanti was last seen on Bonnie Road at the Midtown at Town Center Apartments. It's unlike her to not show up to class at the Art Institute of Virginia Beach or show up to work. Ashanti is now being considered a missing person under suspicious circumstances.
Being former military, real punctual. It's like, hey, this time, let us know you're going here, who you're riding with.
The only trace of Ashanti right now is her cell phone, which was found.
The phone was found roughly about 4 miles from the last position that we knew she was at. It was in a dumpster.
I don't really feel anything anymore right now. I'm just between talking normal and then I just start crying.
It's the only trace of anything familiar for Meltoni and Brandy.
We always want to hope for the best.
I just want my baby home. That's all I want is my baby home. I don't care who brings her, I'll just bring my baby home.
Hopefully a trace to Ashanti. All right, Billie is 4'11" and weighs approximately 133 pounds. She may be traveling in this car you see right here, a 2014 cream color Mini Cooper with Maryland license plate 2CX0575. Police say anyone with information is asked to call Virginia Beach Police. Knew Her, 13 News Now.
The FBI is now in charge of the search for a 19-year-old Virginia Beach woman. Ashanti Billie disappeared a week ago. Saturday, police found her car in Norfolk.
Before that, officers found her cell phone in a dumpster in a different area of Norfolk. Reporter Megan Shin joins us now with an update from federal investigators.
Hey guys, well, the FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for information in this case. Now, the agency is taking the lead, working in collaboration with Virginia Beach and Norfolk Police and NCIS. And Congressman Scott Taylor met with the Billie family today. The former Navy SEAL is saying there were possibly some mistakes made in protocol.
I know there's a lot of questions of why maybe the FBI is coming at this point.
A FBI press conference announces more resources to bring Ashanti home.
Really what we've looked at is as the investigation's gone on and the leads have come in, we are just trying to up it up a little bit to bring in some national resources that the FBI is able to bring to bear that some of the local departments may not have.
Now the FBI says taking the lead will allow them to search across state lines.
And we're asking for the public's help.
Ashanti's parents, Brandy and Meltoni, say they have renewed faith after speaking with Congressman Taylor.
Listening to them, I think that there perhaps were some mistakes made in protocol. I don't know that for sure yet. You know, I don't want to disparage anybody, but we're going to make some calls to everything from the feds all the way down to local level. And in my office, all resources, all hands are on deck.
The FBI confirmed Ashanti went missing after driving to work at the Blimpie at the Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek. Now pieces of the puzzle to find Ashanti are connecting.
We're reaching the masses.
Her phone found on Monday in the dumpster in front of John Brinkman's house.
Well, just a shock, you know, and subsequently we've had the police here, FBI.
John says a construction worker found it in the trash after he heard it ring. The car found Saturday in Ocean View at Lakeside Drive. Now all that's left is finding Ashanti.
We want to try to get as good a resolution of this as possible, as quickly as possible.
If you know anything about where Ashanti might be, please call the Norfolk FBI. Their phone number is 757-455-0100. Live in the studio, Megan Shin, 13 News Now.
And good evening, and thank you for staying up with us. After nearly 2 weeks of searching for Ashanti Billie, federal investigators say the 19-year-old is dead. Police in North Carolina found her body on Friday, and then Saturday, her parents opened up about their loss. Megan Shin was with them. Megan?
Well, Brian, for the military couple, it has been an extremely difficult time knowing that their daughter was last seen entering a military base, the Little Creek Amphibious Base, or JEB Little Creek, which is where she worked at a restaurant, the Blimpie one, on that base. Now, a landscaper in Charlotte found Ashanti's body yesterday, hundreds of miles away from the base, hundreds of miles away from her home. And today, the Mecklenburg County Medical Examiner's Office identified her remains.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out here today.
Brandy and Meltoni Billie sending a message to the daughter they've lost.
And Ashanti, baby, we love you, and we love you.
Sending a message to someone they don't know.
The person or persons that decided they wanted to take our baby away from us and away from everyone that loved her, you're a coward. You didn't deserve to breathe the air that she breathed at all.
We say to everybody, stay encouraged. You know, this is not one of the outcomes that we all were seeking, but yet and still, we're staying in the fight because, once again, there are other young people that are still missing out here.
The words coming a day after police found Ashanti Billie's body behind a church in Charlotte, and after the FBI confirmed it was Ashanti's body. Agents in Norfolk say their investigation is far from over. A statement reading in part, quote, "We will not rest until the person who robbed Ashanti of her life, her promise, and her future is held fully accountable under the law."
So we just want to say thank you to everyone in the community here, everywhere, even nationwide, that was searching for Ashanti.
And the Billie family publicist says Ashanti's parents are expected to fly out to Charlotte when the FBI tells them to, so they can't see Ashanti's body until at least next week. And in the meantime, if you know anything about Ashanti's case, please call the Norfolk FBI. Live in the studio, Megan Shin, 13 News Now.
It is a case that grabbed national attention. A 19-year-old girl missing, endangered, and last seen entering a local Navy base. The FBI sent out security camera video from that base, but many of you pointed out that it's grainy and unclear. Tonight, investigative reporter Laura Geller is asking why.
Authorities released this kind of surveillance footage in hopes it could lead to critical information. In the best case scenario, even help them find Ashanti Billie alive. But many wondered how it could help if the quality is so bad, and how video like this would come from cameras used to protect a world-class Navy installation.
What do you see in this video? The FBI says it shows Ashanti Billie's Mini Cooper entering Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek Fort Story Gate 3 at 4:44 in the morning. Then authorities told us this video shows the vehicle coming out of the same gate about 3 minutes later. Would you have known what you were seeing if the FBI didn't specifically describe it? When we posted the video, one person wanted us to find out why a military installation has such poor video surveillance cameras. He wrote, "This is a government installation, right? There is no excuse for such sorry equipment." Another person wrote, "The video doesn't show who was driving her vehicle off the base." Another asked, "How is this the only footage of her on base?" One viewer said, "My $20 eBay camera is far superior."
So let's see. This monitor is playing a loop of the two videos from the Little Creek security gate cameras. Take a look for yourselves. This monitor has surveillance footage from Norfolk. It was taken in the middle of the night, like the Navy video. It appears to show a van slowly drive up and a man run out. Here is another video. This one was taken during a brazen robbery attempt at a bank. It's even in color. Again, here is the video from Little Creek, and here are the other security camera videos that have been released to us.
Congressman Scott Taylor's district includes Little Creek. He met with Ashanti's parents while she was still missing. Some of Taylor's time as a Navy SEAL was spent on that base. He reacted to the footage from the security cameras there.
You can't see who it is, right?
Taylor raised some of the same concerns our viewers, his constituents, have expressed.
There's obviously plenty of technology out there that have much better capacity and technology for identification for people that are coming on base.
We went straight to the Navy to figure out the situation with these cameras. We wanted to know why they appear to be such low quality and if there's going to be any sort of review of the camera system. A spokesperson wrote back, "As a matter of policy, we do not discuss security measures or security equipment on our installations. However, I can tell you that appropriate security measures are in place to keep individuals who are not authorized on our installation from gaining access." She went on to say open gates have armed security 24 hours a day and closed gates are secured. We pushed for answers because the statement does not address the low-quality footage. We got a short response. We have nothing else to add at this time. Congressman Taylor's office also reached out to the Navy for further clarification on the camera issue. They're waiting for new information.
That's something that we're more than willing to ask and make sure that something gets implemented with better technology.
The Navy included in its response that the investigation into Ashanti Billie's death is being led by the FBI, and it would be inappropriate to comment on specifics as this may impede the investigation. While our questions stemmed from the Ashanti Billie case, they were not about the investigation, but about the security situation with the cameras on base. Laura Geller, 13 News Now.
13 News Now begins with breaking news.
Tonight, a major development in the case of 19-year-old Ashanti Billie.
The Virginia Beach student was found dead in Charlotte, North Carolina late last month, 2 weeks after Ashanti and her Mini Cooper vanished from Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek. 13 News Now has obtained exclusive video that shows a suspicious person in action shortly after Ashanti and her Mini Cooper went missing.
As a man is on the move behind the wheel of a Mini Cooper, he makes a stop along the way. And it just so happens he stops in front of a home with a surveillance camera. Before sunrise Monday morning, September 18th, a home security camera is trained on the 2100 block of Tally Ho Terrace. This is a middle-class neighborhood near Norfolk International Airport. Around 5:40, a car turns right onto Tally Ho Terrace from Azalea Garden Road. As the car gets closer, you can see it's a Mini Cooper. A man exits the car and walks toward a large construction dumpster. We paused the video here to offer context. The dumpster is barely visible from Azalea Garden Road. It was placed there for construction crews working at a home nearby. The moving images are grainy, but watch as a male figure walks toward Azalea Garden Road just past the dumpster. He turns back and pitches an object into an empty dumpster. And what appears to be light-colored clothing, he walks back to the car, jumps in, and takes off west toward Bridle Way. Now to recap what you saw in that grainy surveillance video. It was around 5:40 a.m. Monday morning when the surveillance camera here in the 2100 block of Tally Ho Terrace captures the Mini Cooper traveling west. The driver drives just past this construction dumpster and stops the car right about here. At that point, the driver then exits the car and walks along the sidewalk here. At this point, I'm now headed back toward the direction of the airport. He walks just past the construction dumpster, turns, and tosses something into the dumpster. Now, I talked to Ashanti's parents, and they tell me police recovered Ashanti's phone around 2 p.m. the same day. Family members say a construction worker found the phone in the dumpster and decided to answer it after numerous calls from Ashanti's concerned co-workers at Blimpie on the base. Now, FBI agents need any information, video or eyewitness accounts of the suspicious person behind the wheel of Ashanti's car from Little Creek all the way to Charlotte. That is where Ashanti's decomposing remains were found. behind East Stonewall AME Zion Church 11 days after she was reported missing.
If you believe that you may have seen Ashanti or her vehicle in the Charlotte area, or traveling between Hampton Roads and Charlotte on any of the logical thoroughfares, please call the FBI.
Days after Ashanti's funeral in Fort Washington, Maryland, Ashanti's heartbroken parents, Brandy and Meltoni Billie, shared their pain with our sister station in Washington, D.C.
I lost a future.
Now, take another look at the suspicious person. Take a look at his gait, his build, and the way his head is held. Investigators believe a handful of people, a spouse, ex-spouse, girlfriend, parents, or siblings, can identify the person in the video. Now, take a look at this new poster FBI agents are handing out from Hampton Roads all the way to Charlotte. They believe the suspect, is a man who between September 18th and the 23rd had some unexplained gaps in his life.
That's the time between when Ashanti disappeared and when her car was found. Here's a look at what happened up until her body was identified. Monday, September 18th, Billie was on her way to work at the Blimpie sub shop on Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek. The FBI says Billie drove through Gate 3 at 4:44 that morning. She had to turn around because of a crash and left Gate 3 at 4:47. Then she entered Gate 1 just before 5, but she never showed for work. The FBI says Billie's white Mini Cooper left the base, but investigators say they are unsure if she was driving. That same day, police found Billie's cell phone in a dumpster in Norfolk. Days later, another clue. Saturday, September 23rd, a 13 News Now viewer sent us pictures of Billie's car being towed. Police confirmed they found the car in Ocean View in Norfolk. Monday, September 25th, the FBI took over the investigation. 2 days later, the reward for information leading to Billie doubled to $20,000. September 29th, a landscaper found a decomposed body behind a church in Charlotte, North Carolina. Less than 24 hours later, the medical examiner confirmed the family's worst fear and identified the remains as Billie. And there's still no official cause of death for Ashanti.
The FBI needs your help in solving this case. They've set up a designated 24-hour hotline for tips. The number is on your screen. It is also on our website, 13newsnow.com. That is also where you can take a closer look at that exclusive video in the case.
13 News Now begins with breaking news.
A retired Navy veteran charged with kidnapping Ashanti Billie, the 19-year-old culinary arts student, is making his first appearance in federal court right now. This is 45-year-old Eric Brown walking into court about 20 minutes ago. He's accused of kidnapping Billie in September outside the Blimpie sub shop on JEB Little Creek, where Billie worked. We're told Brown was employed as a construction worker building that Blimpie restaurant.
A 15-page criminal complaint says this surveillance video, which 13 News Now aired exclusively, helped lead to Brown's arrest. Another construction worker who helped build the Blimpie recognized Brown from this video. Investigators say in this video, Brown gets out of Billie's car and throws Billie's phone into a dumpster.
Reporter Robert Boyd is live outside the U.S. District Court in Norfolk, where Brown is before a judge right now. Robert.
Yes, Eric Brown just went before a judge in the last 15 minutes or so. I was inside the courtroom, and he didn't really show much emotion. He just stood there, listened to his charges, and left. Obviously, he's being held without bail. But this is what the family feared all along. They just assumed it was someone on that Navy base who was in connection with Ashanti's kidnapping. Now, keep in mind, Brown spent 21 years in the Navy and was working again on the base, actually helping to build that Blimpie's restaurant where Ashanti worked. And basically, Ashanti's friends and co-workers say that he would come into that Blimpie's on a daily basis, a regular basis, and basically flirt with her. So they always knew that there could be something something suspicious about him. And then on September 18th, of course, that's when Ashanti was first reported missing. There's that surveillance video showing her car leaving that naval base. And then obviously more video, surveillance video, showing Brown allegedly going to a neighborhood in Norfolk and dumping her cell phone into a dumpster and then leaving in her car. Of course, her car was found a few days later. And then 11 days after that, Ashanti's body was discovered behind a church in Charlotte, North Carolina. And that's where the evidence really starts to build up, because the FBI says Brown's DNA was found on Ashanti's clothing, 2 sets of clothing, and they say the chances of that DNA belonging to any other person is 1 in 2.7 quadrillion. So pretty good case for the feds regarding putting Brown away for a long time. And other interesting news regarding that church where the body was found is that Brown actually grew up just about 300 yards away in a home right next to it. So it appears that he went back to his hometown to dump the body. And then the days following Ashanti's disappearance, the feds say that he made several internet searches regarding her case and the hometown where the body was dumped. So he was obviously following this case very, very closely. Now, as far as Brown, he, of course, being held without bail, we can tell you he's actually arrested already in jail. He was arrested yesterday for some minor charges regarding trespassing and solicitation of prostitution. So it's easy to make the arrest since he was already in custody and just move him over to the federal level. And I can tell you, coming up on November 14th is his next court appearance. Of course, we'll be following this case throughout. And coming up later in this newscast, we're going to hear from the family spokesperson, Kim Wimbish. She says that the family is just so relieved that this man is off the streets. And they also said they wanted to thank Channel 13 for that surveillance video of the neighborhood. They said that was very key in making this arrest, and they wanted to thank us for getting that surveillance video out there and showing some very important evidence in this case. Of course, we'll have much more coming up in our later newscasts. Live in Norfolk, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
All right, we want to talk a little bit more about the family. The spokesperson, she did release a written statement saying the family wants to extend their deepest thanks to the FBI, Virginia Beach, Norfolk Police, and NCIS. They also said they would like to extend their heartfelt thanks to all who helped and came forward with tips. At the current time, the family needs time to process the information, but will be making a public statement soon.
Shocking developments today in a story that has saddened so many people in our community.
Today, the Department of Justice announced a retired Navy veteran is in custody in the kidnapping of 19-year-old Ashanti Billie. Tonight, police in Charlotte, North Carolina announced they are charging 45-year-old Eric Brown with murder.
This is a case we have followed extensively since Ashanti disappeared back in September. Court documents reveal eerie details about how Ashanti knew her alleged killer. Ashanti worked at Blimpie's sub shop in Little Creek. Ashanti's co-workers say Eric Brown came by frequently, tried to flirt with Ashanti, and even made at least one sexual comment to her.
Ashanti was last seen entering Little Creek, where she was supposed to open up the sub shop. Her body was found 11 days later in Charlotte, in the same neighborhood where Eric Brown grew up and went to Vacation Bible School. Robert Boyd has been following this development, joins us now live with more. Robert?
Well, David and Regina, I was in the courtroom today as Eric Brown made his initial appearance before a judge in this case. While in Maryland, Ashanti Billie's parents sat and wondered and tried to understand why anyone would want to kill their daughter.
It was like looking at a monster. It's like looking at a monster, like this is the person, this is the coward that took our child's life.
That is how Brandy and Meltoni Billie described Eric Brown, the man charged with killing their 19-year-old daughter Ashanti back in September.
I look at him and I see a person, but I see a sick individual. And I don't mean emotionally sick. I mean, he's just sick. He's angry, he's mean for no reason.
According to the FBI, Brown met Ashanti at the Blimpie's restaurant on JEB Little Creek where she worked. He would often stop in and speak with her.
She never perceived anything as a threatening flirt, as anything outside the ordinary.
But according to the FBI, Brown abducted Billie on base and drove off in her car, captured on surveillance video. The Billies hold the naval installation partially responsible. Brown was described as a homeless person living on the base.
I say they failed her. They failed her, they failed us, they failed all veterans. They failed all active duty military personnel.
Both of Ashanti's parents are military veterans themselves.
I'm upset about the fact that the base never reached out to us. to even give their condolence.
The FBI says Brown dumped Ashanti's remains in his hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, behind a church just a few hundred yards away from where he grew up. Brown's DNA was on her clothes. Her father just wishes he could have been there to protect her.
In my head, me being who I am, I'm hearing my daughter cry out for me. And that was rough.
Ashanti's parents say it's a relief that the alleged killer has been captured, and now they can slowly start to heal.
I truly feel that he's done this before. I'm grateful that it stops here, that he won't do it to nobody else.
Now, Ashanti's parents will actually be in Hampton Roads tomorrow. They'll be holding a press conference at 9 a.m. outside the FBI building in Chesapeake. And they said they want to thank all the community members who have given so much love and support over the last couple difficult weeks. Live in Norfolk, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
Tonight, we also talked to the Billie family spokeswoman. She says the family is grateful to 13 News Now. We showed surveillance video from the neighborhood where Ashanti's phone was found in a dumpster. According to court documents, that video helped investigators connect the dots and build a stronger case against Eric Brown.
Y'all saved this case. Because y'all released that video, I'm just now reading the criminal complaint from the FBI. Because of the release of that video, one of the people who he worked with noticed him and recognized him.
Tonight, we also learned more about Eric Brown's military career. According to Navy officials, Brown enlisted in 1991 and retired in 2011. He had several assignments working in naval computer and telecommunications in Norfolk. He served aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt and worked at Naval Hospital Portsmouth. Brown received several awards, including 4 Good Conduct Medals and a Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. There is much more information listed in that criminal complaint. You can read it. Plus, see Eric Brown's military history on our website, 13newsnow.com. And we'll, of course, continue to bring you all of the developments in this tragic case, including Brown's next court date on November 14th.